Yeah, accounting and taxes. Yeah, I work with an accountant. At some point, you're going to need to. And so I reached out into my community and found people who are owners of small businesses or independent and said, who do you use? I use a wonderful woman named Cynthia LeMay, and Cynthia is still in Connecticut, even though I'm in Washington. And she's great because Cynthia is always keeping up to date. She's a small business herself, and she works with small businesses like me. So that's her niche, that's her area. She's always looking at how things are changing. She's always giving me good guidance and thinking through, how tax code and law is going to affect things. And most importantly, she also tells me, here's what we don't know. It could go this way, it could go that way. So here's what we have to consider. So we have that kind of relationship. But yeah, I think at some point, there are some things you need. Unless you're an accountant yourself, you need an accountant to do the taxes. The second is, do you need a bookkeeper? I don't have a bookkeeper. I might get one at some point. I probably should. Right now, we do the bookkeeping. I have, again, a fairly low volume of clients. So I don't have hundreds and hundreds of clients. My business model is one having somewhere between 3 and 5 clients on an ongoing basis. I can manage that. It's fairly straightforward. I bill on a day rate or a monthly retainer. And so it's not that complicated. But if you're doing anything that gets a little more complicated, at least you want to have a good bookkeeping system, but probably a good bookkeeper as well who can keep an eye out for some of the things you don't know, because it really sucks to actually get the hard-earned money that you've made and then realize you're going to have to pay more to a tax agency or someone else or something because you just forgot and didn't realize it. For example, now in the state of Washington, I have to pay my B&O tax on a monthly basis, and I file it myself. This one I talked to my attorney and my accountant, and I said, I'm going to try it first. And you know what? It was fairly straightforward. The state of Washington's made it a simple form. I just fill it out, boom, it's deposited online, and it's relatively easy. But there are some things you don't want to skimp on. You want to spend some money on a good bookkeeper, a good bookkeeping system, on a good tax accountant. And if you're setting up a business, no disrespect to the people at LegalZoom who got me going, but I think it's worth spending a little more money to go with a good attorney, a business attorney and tax attorney who can give you some advice, because it's a lot more complicated than it should be. And spending that money to not have a problem. And I can give you a quick example. I first set up my LLC for my wife and myself to be equal partners in it. But you know what? That model didn't work because I was incorporating Social Security tax for her, but it really turns out at that point she wasn't generating any revenue. So we were paying tax for something that wasn't giving us any value. And the reason I did it was I thought if something happens to me, then she's the co-owner of the business, she has it all. Well, that could be accomplished through different instruments that didn't require us to pay Social Security taxes minimum, even though she wasn't bringing in any income at this point. So those are the things that only a lawyer can tell you. So unless it's really, really simple, your business, and not expected to grow much, I would say you need those kind of professionals.